It is day 101 in the nation's most watched criminal trial. I'm Tim Darnell from our Atlanta News First Midtown First Alert Desk, reporting obviously on the trial of Jeffrey Williams, also known as the international recording, musical, and entertainment superstar Young Thug. Ongoing and happening right now, the latest judge in the Young Thug YSL trial is having a status hearing in Fulton County Superior Court. This is Judge Paige Reese Whitaker's very first hearing that she has held as the newly assigned trial judge in the criminal and gang-related trial of Young Thug and his remaining Young Slime life or Young Stoner's life, aka YSL criminal trial going on in Fulton County Superior Court. Now, no defendants, Young Thug himself was not present, none of the defendants are present, and there is no jury in the courtroom right now. This is simply a status hearing for Judge Whitaker, who by her own admission just a few moments ago has not been following this trial very closely to get a chance to know Fulton County prosecutors and all of the numerous defense attorneys who are engaged and representing the Young Thug and the YSL co-defendants. Judge Whitaker is the third judge that has been assigned this case this week. Earlier this week, Judge Rachel Krause, actually I should say last week, Fulton County Superior Court Judge Rachel Krause ruled that the trial's first judge, Chief Superior Court Judge Ural Glanville, should be recused. Earlier this week, Judge Shakira Ingram was assigned the trial. She recused herself less than 24 hours after being assigned the Young Thug YSL trial. The reason being, one of the former co-defendants in the YSL trial, Christian Eppinger, was accused of having an inappropriate romantic relationship with a deputy who was assigned to Judge Ingram's courtroom at the time of that alleged incident. Judge Ingram said to preserve the image of integrity and impartiality in the Fulton County Superior Court, even though Mr. Eppinger has since been severed from the trial, Judge Ingram chose to recuse herself. Less than 24 hours after that, Fulton County Superior Court Judge Paige Reese Whitaker was assigned the case, and by all indications, it is appearing that she is going ahead with the trial full steam ahead. She said earlier, just a few moments ago, this trial is ongoing. They are in the process right now of determining a calendar schedule for the rest of the trial. The jury is not expected to return until August 5th, meaning we have another 2 weeks of out-of-courtroom proceedings and all kinds of rulings on legal motions, motions to recuse, bond requests, things of that nature. That will be going on all next week and through the week of July 29th. Now, our beat reporter, a reporter who has been handling and covering Young Thug's trial and all of the YSL court proceedings, made a recording, gave us a quick look ahead as far as what's been happening so far and what we can look forward to. We're going to throw right now to Rachel Aragon, who is on the scene at the Fulton County Courthouse.
In Fulton County, the YSL trial is still on pause, but despite not having any open court proceedings this week, we saw 3 different judges in about 3 days be assigned to the YSL case. We know as early as I think this Monday, just the beginning of this week, that's when Judge Ural Glanville, who's been on the case for this whole trial, was officially removed. Now that happened Monday, and then just a day or so later, we had a brand new judge take over, Judge Ingram. She ultimately, hours later, really recused herself from this case, citing a former deputy that had worked in her courtroom. But it's amazing to see just how many judges we saw in a period of 3 days. Again, that's about 3 judges in just a few days. So there's been a lot of shuffling going on. And one of the questions that we have been asking attorneys throughout the week is how hard it is for any new judge to take over this major, historically long YSL case. One of the things and one of the issues that these attorneys tell me is whoever that new judge may be, and it may very well be Judge Whitaker, who is officially a new judge right now on the YSL case, even if she does stay on and ultimately take this up. Many attorneys telling me this week how much effort and time it will take to catch up on the trial that's been going on for over 7 months, but really the case that's been going on for about 2 years now. So the one thing is that new judge will certainly have to do his or her homework, catching up on all the motions, what's been going on, the witness list, all that. But even beyond that, a challenge for whatever new judge comes on officially and stays on is trying to find someone who doesn't have a heavy caseload. We know a lot of these judges, especially in Fulton County, are very, very busy with other cases, of course, and their own schedule. So to squeeze this in, if you will, for a trial that who knows how long it will go, that is a little difficult. But again, right now, I do want to stress as of today, the new judge taking over this YSL case is Judge Paige Reese Whitaker. I know we'll hear more from her coming up, but again and again, a lot of these attorneys that we spoke to throughout the week just tell us how much has to happen before we realize when this trial will wrap up. Because a lot of people want to know, will there be a mistrial? Will we continue with the same jurors? And one more thing I want to stress, the attorneys that I talked to who have been on several RICO cases, they tell me that whoever the new judge is who takes it over, which again could be Judge Whitaker, they say before deciding a lot of things, they're first going to likely have to rule on several motions on whether or not there should be a mistrial. But also we know several of the defense attorneys for these YSL defendants are trying to get their own clients released on bond. So we expect to see a lot of filings and motions to get their clients released on bond, because a lot of those attorneys I talked to say they believe their clients should be released because they've been in jail for 2 years now, and now this trial is in limbo, and who knows how much longer this trial will go on. So a lot to unpack here, a lot to see what happens next, but we do know that defense attorneys plan to file several motions related to either a mistrial and or bond release, so we'll definitely be following those up, of course, in the coming days. Back to you at the studio.
That was Rachel Aragon, who has been covering the YSL trial. We are taking you now back. You're looking at a live shot of Judge Paige Reese Whitaker, the new judge in Young Thug's internationally watched criminal trial here in Atlanta. This is her first hearing that she has held since being assigned the case 48 hours ago, really closer to 72 hours ago. On Wednesday earlier this week, Judge Whitaker was given the perhaps unenviable judicial task of presiding what has already become a trial that's already featured the longest jury selection process in Georgia history, that being 10 months, easily surpassing the Atlanta Public School cheating trial jury selection of a couple of decades ago, or a decade or so ago, and now a trial that will unquestionably very soon be Georgia's longest criminal trial in history, perhaps one of the longest criminal trials in U.S. and American judicial history as well. Judge Whitaker is holding what is known as a status hearing in her Fulton County Superior Courtroom, introducing herself for the first time to the many numerous defense attorneys, including Brian Steele and Keith Adams, who are the lead attorneys for Young Thug himself, an internationally acclaimed global music and entertainment superstar, as well as the other attorneys who are representing the remaining 5 or 6, I believe, co-defendants in the YSL trial. These are co-defendants who have not already stood trial on other charges or reached plea bargain agreements with the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. Judge Whitaker earlier said, just a few moments ago, said that the jury is not expected to return until August 5th. That is not a firm and hard date. She will be hearing and considering or receiving files and motions all of next week from prosecutors and defense attorneys, and will resume on the record court hearings the week of July 29th, but none of the jury will be present. We do expect the week of July 29th to feature the prosecution and defense attorneys and the co-defendants themselves. Judge Whitaker has also laid down some new, more protocol and decorum related courtroom rules that will continue to follow here on Atlanta News First. But as this hearing is still going on, we'll just encourage you to stay with Atlanta News First and atlantanewsfirst.com for all of the latest developments and all of the live coverage and live streaming of what has become the nation's most watched and one of the most fascinating criminal proceedings we've ever had in U.S. judicial history, that being the trial of young Thug here in Atlanta.
I object, and we will hear on Monday the ruling from the court.
Okay, well, so then with regard to the media's inquiry, it sounds like what y'all have been getting as a list from the state is kind of the preliminary, we think this might be the case list, but Ms. Hilton, do you then give them and here's what our determination was list, or?
So normally the court has put on the record that Monday, whether or not that witness should not be shown.
Okay, so you've got your list and you either strike that person off because I said they can be seen, or you just go with what's on there. Okay, that makes sense. So yes, we'll continue with that as well. All right, we're in recess.